Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special episode of Shacknews Presents Pop Goes the Culture. I'm Donovan Erskine, news editor here at Shacknews, and I'm joined this time by Asif Khan. You got to run through all of your titles. I thought I was going to remember them. All I know is EIEIO, Extreme Intelligence, Extremely Intelligent Officer, right? Or
Extremely
Intelligence.
intelligent, extreme intelligence officer, but
Okay.
it's CEO, EIC, EIEIO. So chief executive officer, editor in chief, and then extremely intelligent, extreme intelligence officer. Because EI is actually cooler than AI, and yeah, I'm just doing it to increase our company's valuation
Yeah, by a wide
so
margin.
far.
Yeah, you're filling in here today for Greg, who's busy with some stuff. Which I figured I have to make the most of this. If Greg's not going to be on the show, I'm going to talk about stuff that Greg can't talk about physically, or else it'll like break his brain. Um, so yeah, we're gonna get into some basketball talk here. Asif, of course, the NBA season just started
Yeah,
mere days ago. What, 2 days ago was official tip off, and we
yeah,
already have whoops. A head coach has been arrested for illegal sports gambling, and a player.
yeah, and 28 other people apparently.
Yeah,
Um, Who could have predicted this, Donovan? That involving legalizing gambling on sports would lead to rigging of sport outcomes. Who could have seen this coming? Maybe Tim Donaghy all those years ago.
right.
Because even before it was legal, there were bookies right in America, and there was gambling, and games were rigged, and refs were
Hmm.
shaving points, players were shaving points. We saw that guy last year. Was it DeJounte Murray or something like?
It was one of the Porter siblings,
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
Porter.
I
Yeah,
forget his
he
name.
in Toronto, right? He
Yeah.
was shaving points, and he was rigging his field goal percentage and stuff. So there would be these like unusual FanDuel bets placed like 30 minutes before his games, and he was rigging them.
Yep.
But this is a big deal. This is like the Pete Rose moment for the NBA because
Yeah.
you have, and also it's Chauncey Billups. Like this is a very famous player inducted into the Hall of Fame just last year. So like
Iconic. Yeah.
he's a Hall of Famer. Pete Rose was never inducted into the Hall of Fame in baseball because of the stink of his gambling controversy, which he said he never gambled against his team. He always bet on his team. And, like in the one sport that's had gambling for a while, and is took place in the city where gambling was legal was boxing, right? So like Floyd Mayweather famously bet on himself on every fight. He would take the money that he got for the fight and he would bet on himself. And he won all the time, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ever lost. Uh, so like it's not some unprecedented moment that a player is betting or a coach is betting, but it's a big deal in the NBA. NBA has a lot of shit going on around it right now, man. You have the whole Pablo Torres investigation of the LA Clippers and perhaps cap circumvention with this sponsorship deal with
Yeah.
aspiration and tree planting and Kawhi Leonard being given $48 million dollars and not doing a damn thing for it. So, like, there is a lot of like eyebrow raising stuff going on in basketball. I do want to mention though that like NBC on NBA on NBC had a great launch. It was a
Very
double
good.
overtime game. The production was really cool. It was great to see Maria Taylor back talking about basketball after her whole unceremonious exit from ESPN because of what went down over there. Like she's been great on NFL coverage. She does the halftime show and the pregame show
Yeah.
in the studio for NBC on Sunday Night Football. But like this is where she kind of came up in college sports and also in the NBA. So it's cool to see her back. That desk with her, Carmelo Anthony, Tracy McGrady, and his cousin Vince Carter. That's a cool dynamic to see all those players. Just
Yeah.
some of my favorite players. So it's like cool to see that. Michael Jordan is
Yeah.
he's featured in like halftime and in some of the stuff. him and
The very
Mike
elusive
Tirico
Michael
have this.
Jordan.
Yeah, Michael Jordan's a billionaire, so the fact that they could even get him for this is a big deal. Clearly, it's going to be this like pre-recorded, canned stuff that they show, but hearing Michael Jordan talk about basketball is just interesting. He's the greatest basketball player of all time. I'm not going to argue that. That's not what this show's about. But like him being on TV at the launch of that whole network, that's a big deal. I like Jamal Crawford. I mentioned it off when we were just talking about it, in Discord the other day. But like, yeah, I went to college I was in the same freshman class at the University of Michigan as Jamal Crawford. And my orientation day, I was paired with Jamal Crawford, and that like, you know how you'd have these like groups of like 10 people and you'd go all around. Like it was like me, Jamal Crawford, some other random people, and yeah, he ended up never playing for the University of Michigan because of a scandal. Great player, Chicago Bull, obviously, but also LA Clipper, 6th Man of the Year, amazing shooter, but also just a basketball savant. So to have him there with Mike Tirico on the call, I love hearing Mike Tirico calling basketball again. And yeah Reggie Miller is there. He has such a unique voice. He's very much the Chris Collinsworth of basketball commentary. So like, poor Mike Tirico has to deal with both of them now.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that.
But like, I think Mike Tirico does a great job on the NFL. I think when he was doing college football or whatever he did at ESPN, he was doing golf at times. I like Mike Tirico. He's got a great voice. But it's cool to hear him back talking about basketball. And then, yeah, like yesterday, the Cavs lost to the Knicks, but you had Inside the NBA back, which is like a very weird schedule if you saw what they're going to be doing.
It is, but it seemed like they were back in full force. The jokes they were making and stuff, I was like, oh man, they're not touching this one, yeah.
No, it's literally the same show with an ESPN logo instead of TNT. I did see a Popeyes logo though, and they were making fun of the fact that they were sponsored by fried chicken. I think that's going to be a recurring theme on their show too. Yeah. I love those four. Like, I love Ernie, Shaq, Kenny, and Charles. So like that they're all together is great. It seems like they're treating, ESPN now has 3 deals like this. Like Disney has 3 deals where they're licensing the Pat McAfee show for 2 hours a day. They're licensing the Rich Eisen show now for 3 hours on ESPN Plus, which is really weird that you have Pat McAfee at noon on ESPN 1, and then on ESPN Plus you have Rich Eisen at the same time. So like it's like they're hedging for an inevitable exit of Pat McAfee, I think. But also, I think the Rich Eisen show is easier to sell to advertisers because he doesn't have Aaron Rodgers on talking about vaccines or anything. Like, it's just a regular sports talk show. So I think it's interesting. Like they now have these 3 shows that they're licensing. They don't own, right? And they're and inside the NBA, the whole point of like Charles specifically said, "I won't come back if you don't bring back the whole production team."
Yep.
So like everyone in Atlanta most of them, TNT Sports, at least the ones that were involved in the production inside the NBA, they got to keep their jobs, which is like.
And you could tell in the broadcast, because there was a scene where they did the race to the board, and Shaq trips, and they showed the replay, and Shaq's like just bent over so his ass is in the camera, and Shaq calls out the cameraman by name. He's like, "Josh," he's like, "Get the camera off my ass, man."
I think that's really cool that like Charles Barkley, NBC was throwing money at him and Amazon Prime was throwing money at him. And I'm sure ESPN before this was even throwing money at him. He stood for the people in Atlanta. And I think that's really cool. Because, he never won a title. He chased a ring in Phoenix, but like he's won multiple Emmys, right? Like he is, I think, yes, all those guys are great, and it's that whole foursome that makes that show great. But what set them into a different trajectory was the addition of Charles Barkley all those years
Oh
ago.
yeah,
Because
for
he
sure.
just, the whole San Antonio woman stuff and like all the
The
things that he's
Galveston,
willing to say.
Texas, with the dirty ass
Yeah,
water.
he's so right, dude. I've been there, man. I went to Galveston. I lived in Houston for like 8 years on and off, right? My family's down there. I've been to Galveston one time. It is the dirtiest water I've ever seen in my life, man. It's the Gulf of Mexico, right? And it's like gross. Yeah, it's like it's barely a beach. It's like the narrowest beach. It's a bunch of like pebbles and shit on the ground. You don't even want to walk barefoot on it because it's like barely sand. And then yeah, if you touch the water, it's like mud. Galveston is ass.
My
No offense to anyone who lives in Galveston. I agree with Charles Barkley on that.
my favorite part of that whole ordeal was when he said that, and then Beyonce's mom, because they're from Galveston, wrote in and was like, "Be nice to Chuck, like don't make me come after you." And then Chuck apologized. He was like, "I don't want any of that smoke from the Beehive."
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but like, where does Beyonce live now?
That's
Not on
not
like, I don't know if you've ever seen Galveston houses, man, but they build these houses on stilts.
I have
Because
seen that.
it floods so often there, and I'm like, you might want to just leave. If this is a place where you need to build your house on stilts, maybe just go live in Clear Lake, or that's in between Houston and Galveston. But yeah, I think most people who move down to Houston, they go to Galveston one time, and they're like, "Yep, I'm not coming back here." Like, I'll go to Austin, or I'll go up to Dallas, or there's lakes and there's like Lake Charles in New Orleans, like near in Louisiana. There's like other places you can go if you want to be near water. Lake Travis in Austin.
Yeah.
There's even nicer beaches further south in Texas. But yeah, Galveston's got dirty ass water. I agree with Charles Barkley. But yeah, seeing those four back was great. But then this news breaks today in the morning, and I saw Pablo Torre tweet it out first, and then Shams Charania acted like he was breaking the news. People need to put respect on Pablo Torre's name, man. This guy is, I'd say, the best investigative journalist that exists in sports and maybe all of media right now.
He's been on it.
He's been on fire, dude, with the Kawhi Leonard stuff, even this Bill Belichick stuff with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, he has done so much work, and he's a Harvard grad, ESPN. I think he's still on ESPN, but now he has a weekly spot on MSNBC. His show got picked up by The Athletic, so he's now part of the whole New York Times ecosystem. But I think it's also like what I was talking about. They didn't buy Pablo Torre Finds Out. They're licensing it. Because that's a Meadowlark Media. That's Dan Lebitard's company. So it's like, it's really interesting to watch all of these shows come up. And like, yeah, Disney's not buying them. They're licensing them.
Yeah.
So Disney, would you like to license some Shacknews shows? Just throwing it out there,
License Pop Goes the Culture. We'll talk about the MCU every week. Greg will have to put up with it.
Yeah, we'll talk about your stupid Star Wars spinoffs every week. And Greg will grumble about them, and Donovan will defend them. And from what I've heard, Andor isn't total ass. So, there's stuff out there. They're making a Mandalorian movie, other things. But yeah, Bob Iger, call
Hit us
me.
up.
We will license any of our shows.
Flexible schedule.
Yeah.
We'll fit in somewhere.
And we'll even shoot in 4K Netflix if if we want to.
Yeah, like Netflix put on TV.
Yeah, like if we want to bounce these off of each other. Hey, Spotify, I know you like Joe Rogan, but like if you want someone who's, not Joe Rogan, we can be not Joe Rogan for you guys. But yeah, like I think it's an interesting moment for. It's not even like podcasts anymore, but like talk in general. Like internet talk shows have never been more popular. And that's just interesting that like we've seen this moment. I always point to Pat McAfee as like that was the real big moment where I was like, oh, McAfee's on ESPN now. Like I don't necessarily like the show, but I think it's a big deal that they're on there. And yeah, like I think was it Bussin' with the Boys got picked up by Barstool. Even Barstool being acquired again. But why I bring all these up is that they're all sponsored by gambling apps now, man. Like gambling is everywhere. Every pregame show Charles Barkley has like a same game parlay, or Kay Adams has a same game parlay. Kay Adams'
Her
show
show's
up in
on,
Adams,
yeah, on FanDuel Network. Which,
literally
what is
on a
that?
FanDuel. Like, what the? FanDuel has their own channel. Like, that's her show is on FanDuel, and like you have plenty of athletes, plenty of coaches come on her show, which is literally on a gambling network. So it's like, are we surprised that this is happening?
That was the
No.
first reply I saw to the Shams Charania tweet, was somebody being like, brought to you by DraftKings. Because, yeah, it's
Uh,
like, you surround sports with all this stuff. Obviously, somebody's going to participate in it. I'm reading through this article. So it was Chauncey Billups that got arrested, Terry Rozier, both by the FBI, which that's scary. Get arrested
yeah.
by the fucking FBI. Damon Jones, former NBA player, also got arrested as part of this. So let's not leave.
Former Cavalier.
Yeah, let's not leave Damon
Former Cavs
Jones out of
coach.
this.
Yeah, how did Damon Jones get wrapped up in this? But also, like, Chauncey Billups has made money, man.
A
Like,
lot of money.
He's made hundreds of millions of dollars, and he's being paid tens of millions of dollars to coach the Portland Trailblazers. What are you doing?
Somebody said he was
How?
taking all their unders. I saw that.
Like, look, maybe his team is ass, and he's like, look, I can make some money by betting against my team, but like, it's just shitty, man. Like, why?
It is.
Why are they doing this? You guys are already millionaires, and you can't place this many bets. Like, there's limits to these apps. So yeah, I saw there's like 30 people implicated in this story. Probably multiple other people that are gonna be found out. But like, the amount of money you can make as a player, as a coach, as an analyst, it's worth more than what you can make gambling. So like, what are these people truly wrapped up in?
Well, I'm glad you asked that last question, because this seems to, like, this story takes a bit of a sinister turn when you read through the CNBC article. So I'm going to just read a paragraph here. More than 30 people, including NBA head coach Chauncey Billups and player Terry Rozier, have been arrested as part of federal investigation into gambling and sports rigging, operations linked to multiple major crime families, law enforcement leaders said Thursday. So this is like mafia shit, potentially. Like, this goes deep.
Which means, like, is he being coerced into doing this?
Right,
because,
yeah.
Like, are they like, we'll break your legs if you don't do this? Or one of his family members owes some, off the book, like, behind closed doors bookies. They still exist, right? So, like, yeah, how deep does this rabbit hole go? I guess is my question. Because on the surface, I was very shocked to see Chauncey Billups in the headline. I was like, wait a second. That guy, I like looked back at his career. I'm like, this guy's made at least $100 million. Why is he doing this? And when I saw that, yeah, it's related to crime families. That's insane.
Yeah. For the sake of Chauncey Billups' legacy, I hope it comes out that somebody was making him do this, or he was wrapped up in some bad stuff. I hope he wasn't just being an idiot and was like, I'm gonna bet on Blazers games because I coach the Blazers. If it was that simple, then he's much stupider than I thought he was.
High tech. Apparently, this also involves underground poker rings. And I lived in Houston. I talked about that earlier in this show. I've been to an underground poker game in Houston, man. It gets crazy. Like, these are, because the financial limitations I was talking about of like regular gambling on an app don't exist in the underground. So you'll see guys with like briefcases of money show up to these underground poker things. I used to play at a club called the Industry Cafe. I was their Thursday and Saturday resident DJ on the outside. But I'm not a DJ. I just produced electronic music. But I was still doing my thing, my Army of Techno thing at this venue. Wednesday nights at the same venue, they were holding an underground poker thing for the Vietnamese gangs. And like, someone was looking at someone else's girl the wrong way, and a shooting happened, and that club was gone, and my gig was over. But so yeah, Houston and like all sorts of places in the United States have underground gambling rings. LA is huge for it because there's so much money in Los Angeles. All these famous people are involved in gambling there. So it seems like this is not. They're talking about X-ray glasses for reading cards. Like, that's insane.
That's nuts.
Like, so it was like Chauncey and Terry Rozier, maybe they were bringing in other famous rich people and screwing them over, right? Like, because they were getting those fish for the pond.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is insane.
Yeah.
But I am not surprised when you introduced gambling to these sports that this happens. It's not that surprising to me.
It was a mistake, man. It was a mistake.
And like they're trying to put sports books inside of stadiums. So you can bet on like a horse race, right? Like you can bet on the game. So there's like a sports book inside of a stadium. It's a horrible idea.
There's going to be somebody who gets too drunk, bets too much money, loses it, and tries to jump off the like 500 section of some stadium somewhere. Yeah, this is terrible.
And but also like America's addicted to gambling, man. Like it's just we are. Yeah. The pandemic really highlighted that. People, you think back to like the crypto bubble of the 2020, 2022 time period during COVID, like the lockdowns. People all became speculative traders. You saw the GameStop bubble, right? The whole accompanying meme stock craze. Like, it's not just in gambling on sports. People are being more speculative in stocks than they ever were. They're buying these. Remember the whole NFT bubble? Like, speculation of financial assets has never been more rampant than right now. And gambling and the gamification of gambling, like, with FanDuel has mobile games. FanDuel has entered the mobile game space, right? Like, it's this very scary synergy between these two industries. And I think it's just bad. But I'm sad to hear this news because I like Chauncey Billups. I'm just not surprised, like, at all.
Yeah, this is one. Well, you have to come back on and follow up whenever we get like rulings from this investigation. There's another story we have here that I am just like baffled by, almost as much as I was baffled by all the sports gambling stuff. This is kind of both very confusing stories. But Netflix announced this week that they're going to be airing a posthumous, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, interview with Jane Goodall, obviously conservationist. She loved apes and primates. She educated about them.
She's an anthropologist.
There you go. I remember we watched her videos when I was in school.
She's an expert in primate social behavior.
Yeah, legendary human being. Very recently passed away, and Netflix announced that they were airing an interview that they recently shot with her. But the catch was that the interview was specifically withheld until her death because they knew that Jane Goodall was late in her life. And not only that, but this is the beginning of a new series for Netflix called Famous Last Words, where they interview, I guess, aging celebrities for posthumous interviews. With they interview them under the context, hey, we're going to interview you, we're not going to air it until you die. And it's so that they can like just, speak freely, answer questions, in which I just learned when they interview Jane Goodall in this doc, it's all past tense. So when they ask her, they're like, what was? Because the whole time it's in black and white. They're like, hey, you're dead now, so speak to us as if you are, no longer here. Very morbid, and deeply strange, I think. It's
monetizing
so weird.
Death.
Yeah.
Like, they're monetizing death.
And our emotional reaction to it, yeah.
Yeah, which, like, it already happens. You mentioned it before we started the show. Like, when Michael Jackson died, his music sold better, right? When a famous actor dies, they start running their shows again. But
happens
also,
all the time,
like, think about, like, Sora 2, right? With the late Robin Williams or Martin Luther King Jr., for God's sake. Like, they were, until the King family actually said, no, you have to remove our father from this. Until they did that, you could see God knows what on that app. And it's not just that app. Those videos go on to X and all these other platforms. But like, yeah, Robin Williams specifically, Zelda Williams, his daughter, was like, please stop sending me AI slop of my father. Like, she just straight up said it on Twitter.
Yeah.
So it's like, the technology companies have gone too far, man. Like, they're really out of pocket at this point. There's no regulation, and they're just getting away with everything. Netflix has essentially won the streaming wars.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's game over. These other outlets, Peacock, I think, will continue to live because Comcast has a war chest of money. Paramount is now owned by the Ellisons, so they're trying to acquire Warner. I know we're going to talk about that later, but like HBO Max just increased their prices. Like these companies can't afford to compete with Netflix. Netflix was the first mover by like almost 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And I gotta give their CEO and their founder credit. Reid Hoffman, he skates to where the puck's going to be better than anyone else in media, in my opinion. So he spun up streaming before everyone else got out of renting videos. And they got out of the DVD mailing business as everyone was entering streaming. He got into creating their own content as all these other competitors who had content started spinning up their own stuff and pulling, things like The Office off of there. Or movies. Certain movies got pulled off of Netflix streaming.
Yep.
So like now we have Orange is the New Black. We have El Camino from Breaking Bad. We have like all these different things now. I mean, half of the Adam Sandler movie catalog is now on Netflix. And Stranger Things. Like they've had some hits, obviously. Whatever the hell the Kevin Spacey show,
House of Cards.
That was like the first one, right?
That was the original one, yeah.
So like they've been doing this now for 5 years or so, 5 to 10 years. And it's like every time you see Paramount enter the space or you see HBO enter the space, then you saw Discovery and HBO merge and do a big pile of crap. They're always winning. And it's like, this is disgusting to me. I understand that Jane Goodall agreed to this, and she probably got paid a ton of money, and her family or maybe her charities that she cared about got money from this. Mm-hmm. And like, I get it's their choice, but it is like strange and gross, and I don't really like it.
And half of the concept I don't mind. I don't mind the idea of like just doing a late in life interview with Jane Goodall. Right? If you just want to interview 93-year-old Jane Goodall and see what she thinks of the world after being around for a century, I think that's great. I think it's the idea that like this is we're holding this until you die, so that it can be like a thing that people watch when you're like dead and they're all sad. And
we're gonna wait till you're trending, Jane.
Yeah,
you're not trending right now, so we're gonna wait till you're trending when you're dead and in the ground, and then we're gonna run this interview.
Yeah,
that's creepy and gross.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Jon Stewart interviewed George Carlin years before his death. It's a great interview, but he didn't wait. Like they posted it before George Carlin passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So I think. I agree that, like, for a historical standpoint, I don't mind the idea of interviewing people like this.
Mm-hmm.
Even, like, do it with politicians, do it with famous philosophers, do it with whatever. Do it with artists, musicians. Because, like, if we had this with Michael Jackson, I'd watch it.
That's the thing, is that this is going to do well. Because it's it's like what you just said, she's trending now, so I bet you a lot of people are going to watch this. If this came out 3 months ago, it probably does a quarter of the viewership, but this is going to be big now.
Exactly. Although, have you seen the show Subway Takes? It's just a TikTok vertical video, quick interviews with that guy. He did a long form one with Jane Goodall. She had never been on the subway in New York before.
Oh, wow.
So that was actually fascinating to see how she viewed like the subway and the experience of walking around New York City with that guy. So that was something that aired before she passed away that I would recommend people watch, because it's actually interesting. And she's not talking about herself in the past tense.
Yeah. Like,
you can be reflective of your life without having to create content for your death. That's, I think, the point here. And it's shitty. I wonder how many of these they have in the can, dude. Like,
that's the thing, because now they're like, well, we're not telling you. Like, they're keeping it a secret of whoever they've done these with. So unless some actor like starts yapping in the press, we won't know. I do. 2 points I want to make. One, it's worth mentioning that this is an American version of a show that already existed in Danish television called The Last Word, Det Sidste Ord. So apparently those crazy fucks have been doing this already up in Northern Europe. I want to read this quote from Jane Goodall from this interview that's in this article. This is all from Jane Goodall in this Netflix interview. Absolutely, there are people I don't like, and I would put them on one of Musk's spaceships and send them all to the planet he's sure he's going to discover. He'd be the host. Along with Musk would be Trump, and then I'd put Putin in there. I'd put President Xi. I'd put Netanyahu and his far right government. Put them all in that spaceship and send them off. So
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
because her whole philosophy, her life's work was conservation.
Yeah.
And I can't think of more wasteful people than the list that she just gave. There's nothing more wasteful than genocide.
Yeah.
And right next door to genocide is fascism, which is what she's talking about there.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this, like, it's what I said earlier. These tech companies are out of pocket, man. Like, they're just out of control. Even this video's existence proves how out of control tech is right now. Like, it's something like 30 to 40% of the entire stock market is comprised of 10 tech companies. Like, in market cap. The market cap of Nvidia is higher than the entire pharmaceutical industry combined. Like, something's wrong with society right now.
Deeply.
And this is an example of that. It's like a symptom. It's not the disease, but it's the symptom.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a bigger thing. And I think streaming services are that. And even the concept of binge watching, I think, is problematic. Like, that's an issue, because it's taken what, became a, what used to be like appointment watching, or even just, at post DVR, just getting together with your family once a week to watch whatever show you like.
It's Netflix's fault. I'm not gonna do it again because I've done the soapbox with Greg, but like Netflix ruined this, and it's ironic because on one hand it's like they're the most successful, they created the streaming model. Arguably everybody else is gonna fail, but them, they'll be the last one standing. But they also just ruined how we watch TV forever. Where like even now when a show does come out week to week, I have friends who are like, oh, I'm just gonna wait till it's all done so I can binge it, and I'm like, this is not how we watched TV 10 years ago. No one was like, I'm gonna wait until all of Breaking Bad season 2 is done so then I can watch it week to week. It was a weekly conversation. Game of Thrones, that's what it was all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sopranos, same thing.
Yeah.
And hell, I haven't talked about much on this show, but here's a weekly show that's still drip dropping on Paramount Plus. Tulsa King. It's become like the thing my brother and I every Sunday, like basically after the afternoon football games, but before Sunday night football, I'll watch Tulsa King. It's about like 40 minutes to an hour.
Nice.
I'll watch a Tulsa King episode in there. I will say this about Tulsa King. And I want to save my review until the end of the season, because I think it's better to review seasons. I don't like, to your point, I don't like outlets that review episodes and like score them. I think that's kind of dumb too. But
that's part of that old model, yeah.
But like I understand it, and I understand the people who appreciate episodic things dropping every week. Did you ever watch Entourage?
I did not. I have a buddy who loves that show and has been begging me to watch it because he says I would like it.
I know you. You would hate Entourage. Do not watch Entourage.
Okay.
No. I know you like Hollywood and stuff, but sure. No. Don't watch Entourage. Just watch documentaries about real Hollywood things. Like, don't... Because what I'm going to say here, and I'm not spoiling Entourage for you, but, like, what I'm saying here to you is Tulsa King is falling into the same problem of Entourage. Basically, there's this main character, Vince Chase, in Entourage, right? And every other episode, it was like, uh-oh, Vince Chase is in trouble. He did something stupid, Donovan. Well, how is he going to get out of it? And then the next episode, he gets out of it.
Yeah.
And then something else happens the next episode. Well, how's he going to get out of it? And then, so that's the problem, I think, with the weekly episodic thing, is they have to keep you interested till next week, right? Tune in till next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tulsa King is falling into that trap where it's like there are these plot moments where I'm like, this is stupid. I'm like, this is dumb. I actively don't like this.
It's season 3, man. This is where a lot of shows start to like spin their wheels. This far in.
And it's like, okay, so season 1, there's some Irish motorcycle gang in Tulsa. That's the main antagonist, right? Season 2, it's some Chinese gang in Tulsa, Oklahoma,
Naturally.
that's running a competitive weed farm. Okay. Now it's the Dixie Mafia. It's like these old white rednecks that make moonshine are the antagonists in Tulsa. This is probably the most believable. But then there's this other
honestly.
subplot about the feds and like, but Sylvester Stallone's character has essentially turned into the main character of Entourage, is my point. And it's like, this happens, and then that happens, and then this happens, and then that happens. It's like every other week, I hate the show.
Yeah.
Like one episode, and then the next episode happens, and I'm like, this is stupid.
Lucci was with you. Is there a fantasy tag on the show? I stopped watching because it was so ridiculous.
Yeah, it is absurd. Like, the one thing I'll say about Tulsa King that I still appreciate is the use of violence. Like, shocking, unexpected violence. I think they're doing that really well. And this is did you ever watch The Sopranos?
No, it's one of my blind spots. It's on my list.
That's the one you should watch. Don't watch Entourage. Please. Don't listen to your friend. Entourage sucks big time. But that was the show that aired before Sopranos back in the day. So if you were getting together with your friends, which I was in college because I'm much older than you, but like every Sunday we would get together at my friend's house. You know, there might be a bong passed around or whatever, or food, wings, whatever. But there would be Entourage on before The Sopranos. So by osmosis, people would just watch Entourage in preparation for, you know, the better show, which was The Sopranos at the time. So, like, I've watched all of Entourage, and I regret every minute of watching it. It's not a good show. It's a story that Mark Wahlberg told. It's like basically him telling his story through this other character. It's like real life experiences of Wahlberg and his crew told through these other characters. So there is this like element of Seinfeldish nature to it where, you know, like George Costanza on Seinfeld is essentially Larry David in real life. So it's like there is like just don't watch it. It's garbage. But like my point is, it was around season 3 also in Entourage where they fell into this trope where it's like, stupid thing happens. How will he get out of it? Stay tuned till next week. He gets out of it. Now new stupid thing happens. It just becomes this repetitive cycle of crap. And that's kind of what's happened with Tulsa King. And I am not enjoying it as a result. As much as I was season 1 and season 2.
Tulsa King
season 3 is like fine.
Is on which streaming service again?
Paramount Plus. It's by the way, they killed the MTV Studios logo at the end. It's now Paramount Skydance Company, but they still use the I want my MTV, that little thing they used to play with the bumper. They removed the words. It's just do, but it's Paramount, it's Skydance Company. I'm like, great.
Well,
can't wait.
Paramount is the perfect segue because I believe Paramount made a bid for Warner Brothers Discovery, which was shot down.
Yeah.
But now, and you're the business guy, I'm going to have to ask you about this. After rejecting that offer, now Warner Brothers Discovery is listening to acquisition offers. Is that a thing that happens? You get an unsolicited offer, say no, and then you're like, wait, okay, now we're for sale though? Because that seems like that's what happened with Warner Bros.
Yeah, what's going on at Warner is very weird, man. Because this is maybe the most horribly run media company in history, and one of the worst mergers ever, right? So you had the Warner Brothers Discovery merger, and this stock shot up to $70 a share during the meme stock craze, oddly enough. So it was in the 70s. It fell to as low as $7 earlier this year. So it was on the ropes, man. And like David Zaslav, who I've been on record as wanting to punch him in the face because he has just destroyed all this value for shareholders. And canceled some amazing projects. Batgirl, Coyote versus Acme, and then this company shipped that turd of a Matrix movie and Space Jam 2. Like, the things that they've chosen to do and the things they've chosen not to do, I have hated at every turn. Not to mention, ignoring their best brand was HBO and being like, we're gonna go by Max now.
Yeah.
Like, really? Max?
And then,
That's the thing that you think is the most...
They doubled back on it this summer. They went back, they're like, we're actually HBO Max again. Yeah.
So, does this happen? Yes. Was this company not shopping themselves around? Yes, they were not. And then they heard, oh, we're worth how much? They're saying that they're going to start listening to offers at around 23 a share, 25 a share is what people are, is what the scuttlebutt is for like what they want.
Which right now they're at 21.37 a share.
Yeah. Which all it will take is one of these bidders, which the rumor is, I've heard not just Netflix and Paramount, but I've heard that Apple, Google, Amazon,
Comcast is in the Bloomberg article.
Comcast, they're all sniffing around and they can all afford it. That's the interesting thing, is that, like, you know, because David Zaslav has mismanaged this stock so horribly, it is actually a viable thing. Like, you know, at its current market cap, it's being valued at $52 billion. Earlier this year, you're talking like $15 billion for all of Warner. And you're talking about Looney Tunes, you're talking about the Star Trek IP,
DC,
all of the DC extended universe, right? And then all the HBO stuff. And TNT, TBS, CNN. But it's like incredibly dangerous. The same company that owns CBS and Viacom and Paramount could own CNN? Like,
I do want to bring up, there's an asterisk in this Bloomberg article. They say specifically Netflix and Comcast want assets. They don't want the networks. Netflix, they just want like all the IP, you know, Lord of the Rings, the Harry Potter, all that shit. Which would be insane. I don't know. To me, it's like, this is going to be bad no matter who buys it because corporate consolidation sucks. Netflix is like doomsday scenario to me. That would be abhorrent for anybody who likes watching TV or movies at all.
We didn't mention this company, but Disney. Disney
would also be not great.
The Infinity Gauntlet. Like, you get DC and Marvel under the same house?
That's like 2 gauntlets.
It's insane. They can't... For the love of comic books, please don't let that happen, universe.
It would be so stupid.
Jeebus, Mark Zuckerberg, whoever's listening, please don't let this happen. Like, don't let DC live in the same house as Marvel. That would destroy so many storylines if that happened. You know they would ruin it. You know there'd be this, like, Superman, freaking, I don't fucking know. Whoever. The Avengers. But, like, please don't. Let them exist. And also, James Gunn's cooking. Let him cook. Let him cook over
That's my
DC.
thing. Is James Gunn, like, looking over his shoulder, like, he's just getting into this rhythm. He's been talking about this plan for years, and now we're talking about, like, Netflix. What is Netflix going to do? The DC? Are they putting Superman 2 on Netflix? They were like, it could go bad so many ways. If they.
And then, on top of this, it's like, we got to talk about the gaming aspect of this. They own NetherRealm Studios. They own, you know, Monolith.
Monolith, like, there's 2 Avalanches. I always get so confused. There's like Avalanche and Avalanche Games or something. But the Harry Potter people, that game studio.
But the fate of the Mortal Kombat franchise is at stake here too.
Yeah.
And it seems to be an afterthought. Like, that seems to be a complete afterthought in this.
It's so like the 30th rung on the ladder, is Mortal Kombat.
If they're picking at this carcass, right? If these companies are like, we want this, we want this, we want this, we don't want that, where does NetherRealm fall in this? Because, like, don't ruin NetherRealm further than you already have. Like, please, like, let us have our video games here. You know, some of like the WB Games brand, even, like, they make some of the Lego games. Like, let them. God, I'm so worried about this because you're right. Netflix doesn't want the whole thing. They don't want CNN. They don't. Like, do you think they're gonna broadcast CNN on Netflix? No. The Ellisons want CNN so they can control another media outlet, right? Like another source of news. Then they own CBS News and CNN? Do you think they're going to keep all of those people going? Or are they going to start silencing who they don't like on those channels? Anderson Cooper, for instance. Like what already happened to Don Lemon. But like, a huge Don Lemon fan, but I'm just saying, like, he got thrown off of that channel already. Like, yeah. I think Anderson Cooper is one of the better investigative journalists they have left at CNN. But yeah, like, I think it's a sign of the times, man, that these media companies are allowed to merge like this. And it's bad for consumers. It's bad for information. I think it's going to be problematic, man. Like, I think we're in this era of consolidation, and I don't necessarily think it's all good. I don't think this is like the best answer. It's more consolidation everywhere we look. But yeah, am I surprised that they said no? No. You never say yes to the first offer you get. It's like first thing in negotiating.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I've been offered plenty of money to buy Shacknews, and I say no every time on the first offer. And they're like, well, what do you want? I'm like, more. Much, much more. And then
You're holding out for Comcast and Netflix.
What I'm holding out for at this point, man. We might be the last video game media company left that's independent in America. By the time, like we may end up acquiring fucking the NetherRealm when it's all said and done. Earlier this year, I was considering buying GoPro, the whole company. I was like, I might be able to do a levered buyout of GoPro. That's how bad things were for GoPro. I was like, Shacknews, we can just pivot to being GoPro. But no, like has gone to the moon since then. But like, it's just silly, man. Like,
yeah.
The state of media is so fucking bizarre. Because if this mismanaged turd of a company is being valued at $60 billion.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how do you value companies right now? How do you value media companies right now? How do you value IP right now? I wrote an article earlier today about Microsoft, and they've spent over $100 billion acquiring all these different game studios, shutting down a ton of them to hold on to their IP so that they can put them on Game Pass. This is a trend, you know what I mean? Like, everyone wants IP so they can include it in their subscription revenue service, right? And it's like, it's all deflationary. You make more money releasing a movie in the theater than you do on a streaming service. It's just...
Yeah.
So it's like deflationary for the actors, it's deflationary for the production houses, for the directors, for the producers, for all the people involved in the production. This is deflationary. My point is that the tech industry is deflationary. Streaming services have been deflationary. Game Pass has been deflationary. They ate up 30% of the revenue that they had from COD evaporated because they put COD on Game Pass. So they had to increase the price of Game Pass.
Yeah.
Who could have seen this coming? But yeah, like, I agree with you, man. Netflix buying Warner is the worst possible outcome here because they're going to gut it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same company. Now, this abomination that is Warner Brothers Discovery, it does need to be broken up. It was a terrible decision to merge these two companies.
So dumb.
It's been a disaster. It's been an absolute disaster. It was such a shit show. AT&T divested Warner, right? Like, they were like, we don't want any part of this. They're the idiots that shipped the Matrix movie, by the way. So I don't want to put it all on Zaslav. But like that Matrix 4, that was an AT&T joint, and it sucked ass. And so did Space Jam 2. That was an abomination. But like,
yeah,
the decisions by Zaslav to not ship Coyote versus Acme, to not like Batgirl was done,
and
in the can.
The movie, yeah.
Why? Why would you cancel these? Like, so the last 10 years, or I'm sorry, the last 3 years of this company have been horribly mismanaged. So like, I hope someone buys this company that actually keeps it together. But yeah, if Apple buys it, they're not buying it for CNN. Like, I don't know. TNT doesn't have NBA anymore. It has the NHL. Like, I could see Disney buying it, man. And I think that might be the worst possible. That's second worst.
Yeah, Disney and Netflix are definitely the two that are like the biggest doomsday outcomes, I'd say. It's going to be weird. And it's a little ironic, too, because this year specifically, 2025, WB has, like, dominated at the box office. You look at like the top 10 movies of the year. It's like Minecraft. I think is still the number one movie of the year. I was like 1.3 billion. Warner Brothers just announced the sequel. Sinners, WB movie. Obviously, Ryan Coogler is the artist behind it, but that movie's got the Warner Bros. Logo on it. New Paul Thomas Anderson movie, One Battle After Another, got its WB. So they've actually like, and I saw a couple of their film
Superman.
executives, Superman, WB. So they actually had a couple of their executives got their job saved this year. They were supposed to get fired, and they just re-upped their
And the Harry
contracts.
Potter game a couple of years ago sold 20 million units. So like,
Yeah,
the WB Games division had one of the most successful, like revenue-wise, one of the most successful games of the year a few years ago.
Mhm.
And like, Mortal Kombat is a fucking premier franchise.
yeah, it's like
And
one
the
of the
Shadow
ones.
of the Blank games are also really good. You know, like
Games are so good.
it's I am worried about how this goes down. But yeah, like it's just a sign of the times, man. I think the best thing for Warner shareholders is that they parse it out. They sell kind of like what happened out of the Embracer Group. You know how they started
Right.
like, here, this goes over there, this goes over there, this is going to be spun off. That
Mhm.
might be the answer. But what does this mean for Deadliest Catch, Donovan? That's the real question.
Oh man, I gotta ask my grandmother. We used to love watching Deadliest Catch back in the day.
I consider it the most, I think it's the easiest television show to watch in the history of television. They're looking for crab. Sometimes they find it. Sometimes they don't.
Sometimes
Yeah.
their ship gets flipped on its ass,
Yeah,
like the
by a-
fucking
by a
Poseidon
wave.
adventure. Yeah.
Yeah. Those, I love the cinematography of that show. And like the work that
Yeah.
goes into filming that show, that they have like trailer ships and stuff. Like
Very well
everything
done.
they do to produce that show is really impressive from a production standpoint.
Mhm.
And I also just appreciate those workers. They make like some of those, you know, at the end of the season, they tell you how much everyone made.
Mm.
Some of those dudes make like 90 grand in like a 3-week period. And it's hard work. They deserve it.
Yeah.
But it's like, God damn, 90 grand in 3 weeks? But then you look at what they have to do and you're like,
Yeah.
worth
You see
it.
them like trying not to fall off of a ship in the middle of the ocean. You're like, all right, well,
Yeah.
I get it.
Or like the winter season, the Opelio season, where they have to like break ice off
Yeah.
of the ship or else they're going to capsize and die. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the life and death nature of that job, like they deserve every dollar they get, maybe even more. But then like that show even recently has been interesting because tariffs affected them. Global climate change is starting to affect it. It's a really interesting documentary show, obviously with drama and stuff, the death of Captain Phil and all these things. You talking about profiting off of the death of someone. That whole season, I think it's season 6, was like built around the death of Phil Harris.
Hmm.
And then they followed those kids around, and it was kind of messed up what happened to both those kids. But yeah, like Warner, I don't know, man. I don't know where this is going. I don't see it ending well based on maybe Donald Trump will take a 10% stake.
Oh God, don't no.
Put that in the universe, everybody.
No, that's worse than Netflix and Disney. Actually,
That's worse. I figured out something, a worse outcome. There you go.
Which now
You're
makes
welcome.
it the likeliest outcome because it's the worst one. So, there you go. Do you want to? We got a few minutes
Yeah.
for earnings are to drop. Do you want to do a review? Anything?
Sure.
Real quick.
This one, every time I'm on this show, I'm gonna keep caping for South Park. I think South Park is appointment television, Donovan. I do show up 10 p.m. whatever Wednesday. I actually watch Comedy Central to see it. This last episode, they shit all over Peter Thiel. They actually said it's a new season, so they're no longer in season 27 was 5 episodes, and now season 28 is like the next 5 episodes, and they're on this like every other week, sometimes every 3-week cadence. What's going on there, man? Something's up. They're just like, they basically have a gun to Paramount's head, and they're like, you want another episode or do you not? Right? It's like, this episode, they shit all over Peter Thiel. There was this song about how Peter Thiel knows about the Antichrist, and it was this whole thing about, there was this joke. They put cameras all in the school, right? And Jesus, the character Jesus is like he's now the guidance counselor at the school. he was like, I'm uncomfortable about these cameras in the girls' bathroom. And Peter Thiel's like, we need them to make sure we're keeping a track of the Antichrist. So it's like, the story is now Satan has been impregnated by the president. President Trump impregnated Satan.
This I heard about, yeah.
Satan is going to give birth out of his butthole to the Antichrist. But I feel bad even saying this shit. Do you know the whole 6-7 meme?
I sure do.
That has taken over the school. All the kids are doing the 6-7 meme in the school. And Jesus is like, oh, this is like some sort of sign of the apocalypse or of the Antichrist's arrival. Cartman is laughing so much about 6-7 that he's now starting to vomit, like projectile vomit every time. He's in the hospital. But it's like The Exorcist. So what's really interesting, PC Principal is now like a power Christian. He's not PC anymore. He's not politically correct. He's power Christian Principal. He beat up Jesus in this episode because Jesus wouldn't have sex with this MAGA lady who was like, looks like a caricature of Christy Nome and all those MAGA ladies, right? The fake lips, all that stuff. So at the end of it, Jesus gives up. He capitulates and he goes full redneck. He shaves his beard, has a handlebar mustache, tears his sleeves off. So I think what this is setting up for is Cartman is going to take down Jesus. And he might join forces with Tally, who, mind you, is the president's you-know-what rag still.
God.
Tally is in the bathroom of the White House as a you-know-what rag for the president. Because Satan's pregnant and no longer wants to have sex with the president. Following me?
This sounds like your buddy like describing his dream last night to the best of his ability, and you're just like, what reality is this?
This guy said, I'd watch that episode 6 to 7 times. Exactly.
It's my buddy Jeremy. Yeah.
Shout out, Jeremy. You're right. But yeah, like that's what's happening. So I basically updated you on where we're at in South Park, why I think it's the greatest satire possible right now. Mm-hmm. They're constantly refreshing the story that the president has a tiny wang. Because they want to get sued by him, so he has to prove that he doesn't have a tiny wang in court, or that he does. Because for it to be a defamation case, he would have to admit to having a tiny dick. And that is like the 40 chess move of South Park this season.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great. I think it's setting up for a very interesting moment. But yeah, they have officially said this is a new season now, which 5 episodes might be the shortest season of any television show I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
So I think the behind the scenes of what's happening, I think is almost as interesting as what's happening on the show. But yeah, they are offending Trump loyalists, and they're offending the FCC director every other episode. Have you ever watched Fantasy Island? No, it's before your time.
No, but I'm aware of it.
There's a little person on that show who goes, "The plane, boss, the plane." That guy in this universe is the vice president. So JD Vance is a little person who is like evil, basically.
Of course.
Anyway, it's very interesting. I know some people have issues with Matt and Trey because of the Book of Mormon or other stuff. I would recommend watching the South Park season. I think it's the best satire of the year. They're the only ones who seem unafraid of cancellation in comedy right now. And yeah, there's a really funny song about how Peter Thiel knows about the Antichrist. So yeah, I really love it. It's been like this little oasis of content for me between sports. Having basketball back is great, even if Chauncey Billups going to jail. I'm happy basketball's back. We're in the heart of football season. I did ruin the Ravens for you by drafting Lamar Jackson to my fantasy team. And
back at practice this week. He's going to play the Bears this Sunday. It's going to happen.
The Bears are on fire, though, dude.
The Bears are on fire, which is perfect. Not even a trap game, just the perfect game to get beat for the Ravens coming in against a hot team on a bye week after we've been shitty all year anyway. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I heard they're banning video games from their locker room.
This was the development over the last couple weeks. So apparently they took out like a lot of the luxury shit, right? Ping pong table, video game consoles, all the like expensive random bullshit they give players to entertain themselves. And this was like controversial in the community because Ravens fans are like, all right, well, that's not going to improve morale, treating them like children and grounding them and taking their toys away. But then one of the Ravens like coaches at an interview this week at practice was like, "Oh no, this was like the players. This was like the veteran players who were like, oh, we need to be accountable and we're doing this like it's a self-imposed thing." So people are going back and forth. He said, she said. I think it's all stupid, and this is what it's like to root for a bad team. You have headlines about ping pong tables. We didn't have headlines about ping pong tables 2 years ago. So there you go.
No, you wouldn't. You really wouldn't.
Yep.
But yeah, we gotta get out of here. Earnings are dropping.
We do. It's Intel time. Thank you for hanging out with us here. Thank you, us, for jumping in at the last minute here to sub in for Greg.
Yeah.
He's about to go to, as he calls it, Seoul Cal. And while he's down there, we'll figure out some stuff with the show. He did it again. He put it on the calendar. I was like, that legitimately calls it Seoul Cal. It's great. It's just like there's an extra sun down there.
Yeah, I guess he worships the sun.
Yeah,
it's fine.
But in the meantime, that's gonna be it for this early episode of Pop Goes the Culture. I believe that was episode 175. Appreciate everybody stopping by. We're gonna catch you on the next one. Follow the stream, subscribe, use Twitch Prime, check us out on social media, all over the place, bubbletron.com, shacknews.com, download Shack Pets.
Our 24 to launch documentary is out on our YouTube channel.
On YouTube now. Learn everything you need to know about the making of Borderlands 4 from the people who did it. And with that, we're going to catch you guys later. Goodbye.